So let's jump into the thick of things. First of all, the movie was great, phenomenal. I recommend it to everybody I know. Go see it. Don't waste your time. Don't contemplate about it. Don't waste your time. Go see it. Um, Hawkeye on house arrest because of the Sokovia Accords and having a picnic with his family. Since he's on house arrest, he ain't going nowhere. And because of this, he's having a picnic with his family. The boys in the background playing catch. Wife is getting the food ready at the picnic, having hot dogs. So the wife is fixing the food, hot dogs, and Hawkeye is teaching his daughter how to use a bow and arrow. Um, hits the mark, you know, bullseye, because she's Hawkeye's daughter. Of course, she knew she hits the mark. Tells her to go get the arrow while he bends over to pick up the extra arrows. Look up, and if you ain't paying attention, you missed it. You just see her been snapped, and it's just dust. Right into the wind. Turned around, everybody else is gone. He's freaking out, like, what's going on? What happened? How this is happening? This don't make sense. But everybody's gone. So everybody's gone, and they just jump right in space. After they show the Marvel scene. I mean, not Marvel scene, the Marvel logo. Everybody's they switch it to space. Nebula, Tony playing paper football. We've all played that as kids. And having fun, you see Nebula becoming more and more human-like. Tony leaves the message that we all see. Tony being Tony tells Pepper, when she sees the message, don't put it on social media because it'd be a real tearjerker. Like, come on, bro, really. So they, um, after him recording the message, he lays down next to him and on the floor with a jacket on over, to cover himself up. He's asleep. Oh goodness, on the floor. Nebula comes by, picks him up, put him in the captain's chair, and you just see this light, this bright light. You think it was the sun, but it wasn't because they're deep in space. So it's no way it's the sun. They're way too far from any sun. But it's something shining very brightly outside the window. And then the brightness starts to dull, and you see it's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel comes to save the day. Cap is in the bathroom shaving his beard, and then the whole building starts to rumble. So everybody runs outside to see what's going on. Pepper Potts is already out there. She's been out there for a few hours, or ever since, or however long it's been since. However long it's been since Captain Marvel left, and she places the ship down for a landing, and Nebula is helping Tony out. Out of the ship, down the stairs. Cap is the first person to meet him, and he's like, "Yo, man." And no, he said that he was like, Tony was like, I couldn't stop him. He was like, hey, I couldn't stop him either. And Nebula hold hands with Rocket, and they console each other about the loss of everyone. And they cut to in the dining room or whatever, the office, whatever. Tony is hooked up to an IV, eating oatmeal, what it looked like, and Cap's like, did he tell you anything about, or did he say anything about what he was gonna do, where he was gonna go? Right? My third yawn, really. So he's like, did he tell you anything about what he was gonna do, where he was gonna glow? Did he gloat about it? Anything? Cap was like, no, because he just kicked our butts. I told you, back in Age of Ultron, they had a callback to that. They had a callback to a bunch of movies. It was like, I told you that I saw a shield around the world to protect us, and you didn't believe in me. He's like, hey man, it just didn't turn out that way. And he was like, yeah, but you said we was gonna lose. We was gonna lose together, but we didn't lose together. We lost apart. You lost on Earth. I lost in space, but we lost. And he was so mad. He was so pissed. And he's like, we're not the Avengers. We're the Revengers, the Prevengers. And he was just snapping. And, he just falls out from wearing himself out after snatching an IV out of his arm. So they had to sedate him. They had to heavily sedate him so he would stop freaking out. And so Captain Marvel was like, she turned to leave, and they like, where you going? She like, I'm going to kill Thanos. And it was like, well, I know you kind of new here, but we do things as a team. And besides, you don't even know where he is. And she was like, I might know some people. Then they'd be like, I know where he is. Because Thanos has always had basically a retirement plan after, completing the snap. So Rocket uses space monitors to find out that when the snap occurred, a lot of energy and power was radiating from Earth, and a lot of energy and power. That same energy and power was radiating on the planet 2 days beforehand. So they show up. Um, Captain Marvel does recon to see what's going on down there, and she comes back and like, there's no army, there's no men, there ain't nobody trying to stop it. It's just him. And you see Thor like, hey, I don't give a fuck. I'm finna go down there and break this dude. So Captain Marvel goes and tackles the man through the roof, put him in a chokehold. War Machine got his right arm. Hulkbreaker comes through the floor, grab his left arm. Then you see Thor, Captain America, Thor, Captain America, and Black Widow. Like they come through the door. The thing, Thor just cuts his hand, smooth off with the gauntlet. Then the gauntlet goes flopping off, and you just see that the gauntlet's empty, no stones. And he's like, "Where's the stone?" They're like, "Where's the stones?" And he's like, "The stones are too powerful to be left unchecked, to be left just laying around. So I used the stones to destroy the stones." And it was like, "It can't be because his name is what it, it can't be." But Nebula's like, "My father's many things, but he's not a liar." Which is a callback to Infinity War, because he told Gamora that, you sit here and you lied to me. So, excuse me, another yarn. So he was like, he told Gamora, you sit here and lied to me. I've never taught you to lie. So that's how she was like, yeah, my father does many things, but he's not a liar. So since they were like, we can't get the stones, Thor just straight chopped him in head off. No hesitation, no holdback, no nothing. So, this thing um, it's over. Thanos is dead. Gauntlet's gone. Worthless. All you see is in the text. 5 years later. Cap is in New York holding basically a support group. And the first person you see, besides Captain America, is Joe Russo, one of the directors. And he plays an openly gay character in the movie, goes on a dates, so on and so forth. And then also see when they're doing the whole camera pan circle, who all in the circle. They show, I can't another yard. I can't remember what his name is exactly, but I do know he's the creator of Thanos. They were both there, and Cap just letting the support like we got to move on for the people who we lost. So he gets, the meeting's over. He's leaving, and then you just see, you see, they cut to they cut to self storage, and there's Ken Jeong from not Refuge Off the Boat, but from the Hangover movie franchise. He's there as a security guard, and Scott Lang gets out of the quantum realm because of a rat that can climb through the van to push a button that he couldn't reach. So anyway, Scott gets out, and come to find out he's only been there for 5 hours. When in our world, and out in the real world, he's been in there for 5 years, but he don't know that. So he's like, he got his stuff in a little in a little wagon, a little wagon, a little toy wagon that kids have. He got all his stuff in it, and he sees this kid, riding his bike, and he's like, "Kid, what happened?" And the kid just wipes his tears and keeps pedaling. Um, so then they have the memorial with all the people's names on it that people who died, and he's looking for his daughter Cassie's name, but he don't see it. So, but he does see his own name. So he goes. He's like, "What's going on?" So he goes back to his house, knocking on the door. This girl shows up. It's Cassie, which means Cassie had to be what, 11, 12 years old in Ant-Man 3? Not Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man and the Wasp. So if she was 11 or 12, she had to be what, 16, 17 in this movie? 5 years later. And, they share a tearful reunion. He's like, you got big. So after that, he realized maybe he can get some help from the Avengers, because he knows where the compound is. So Captain America shows up to the compound where Black Widow's holding down the fort, and she got her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich she's snacking on while talking to her version of the council, which is Okoye, Rocket, uh, Okoye, Rocket, War Machine, and Captain Marvel. And they're just talking about what's going on. And Captain Marvel, she got the little haircut that she's known for, little bob, and she's talking about she's off world again because everything that's going on Earth is going on other planets. And then the last one to leave is War Machine. He's working on the lead on Clint, aka Ronin, who's just going around killing bad guys. Left a ton of bodies in Mexico, and he done made his way to Tokyo. And she was like, just keep an eye on him. But I don't know if anybody saw it, but before Captain Marvel left to go handle her business, she looks at Rhodey and she tells him to be careful. She don't say that anything like that to nobody else but Rhodey. So I'm like, oh snap! And in the comics, him and Captain Marvel kind of had something. So I'm like, is this, they leading towards this in probably the second installment to her movie or something? Because if so, hey, Don Cheadle, get on that. I'm silly. Um, so after this, Cap shows up. And he's like, I would offer to cook you dinner, but you already look pretty miserable. And they talking or whatever, and he said something, and she was like, "If you tell me to look on the bright side, I swear I would throw this sandwich at you." So they're sitting there talking, and then Scott shows up outside the gate, talking about, "Hey, it's me, Ant-Man." So yeah, Scott shows up outside the gate, talking about, I'm Ant Man. We met in Germany a few years back. I got really big. I know you remember that. And so they let him in, and he talks about how in the real world he was gone for 5 years, but in the quantum realm time works different. So he was in there for 5 hours. So they're talking about performing a time heist to get the stones back to reverse the snap. And they need somebody to make a time machine. They didn't want to call it a time machine because Scott trying to say it wasn't a time machine, but actually it is. And so they go see the engineer, the builder, Tony Stark, who has a little girl now, about 4, 5, 6 years old, named Morgan. And Morgan is in her little tent where her mom's Pepper's rescue armor on. Well, her rescue armor helmet. Um, and they show up and they're like, we're trying to do this, and he's hesitant. He's like, man, I got a kid, man. I ain't trying to go change anything. And Scott is trying to tell him, that ain't how it works, but Tony ain't trying to hear that. He's like, man, that is how it works. And then they was like, but then how about we just do Back to the Future, and not interact with our old selves and don't bet on sporting events and stuff like that. He's like, no, that's not how time travel is. And it was so funny that he's like, really? So you mean tell me that basically Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 is just a load of crap? And yeah, basically. So Tony's not having it, and he's like, "Look, I really miss you guys, but I'm not helping with that. So if you're gonna stay, you can't talk shop, and but we've made places to sit for six, but they ain't trying to have that. So they want to go talk to the big brain, and Scott was like, a brain bigger than his. And both figured literally and figuratively a brain bigger than his, because who we see in a diner eating a bunch of food, Professor Hulk. And of course he's smaller than the Incredible Hulk, because it's Professor Hulk. It's Bruce Banner and the Hulk combined brains into one person. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's like, that's not my level of expertise, but we can try. And he's flexing and dabbing and taking pictures with kids and telling them to stay in school, do their homework, stuff like that. It's funny. Um, so they go to the Avengers compound. They try it out. It fails because they've managed. They have time flowing through Scott instead of having Scott flow through time. So he literally goes from kid Scott, which is like what 13, 14, 12, 13 years old, then to old man Scott, which is 100 years old, then baby Scott, then back to regular Scott. And Scott's like, I peed my pants. I don't know if it was old me or baby me or be me. So Cap goes out to get some air, and you just hear this car revving up, and it's Tony, and he's already discovered everything. He's like, first thing he's like, let me guess, he turned into a baby. It's like somebody warned somebody should have warned you about that. And Tony and Cap was like, you did. And uh he made this what you want to call it, time travel navigator, compass, whatever, um to navigate through time, so they can go to specific date in time to retrieve the stones. Then they realized back in 2012, there are three stones in New York, which is the Mind Stone. Was it the Mind Stone? The Mind Stone, the Space Stone. Yeah, the Mind Stone, the Space Stone, and the Time Stone. So because of that, um, you know, Captain America, Tony Stark, and Ant Man go to New York to get the stones. Oh no, no, no! Wait a minute, no. Captain America Ant-Man, Tony Stark, and Bruce Banner go get the stones um, from New York, while um, Rhodey and Nebula go to Morag to get the Power Stone. Thor and Rocket go to Asgard to get the Reality Stone, and um, Ronan and Scarlet, not Scarlet Witch, I'm just Scarlet Johansson, Scarlet Witch. Black Widow go to Vermeer, whatever, Vermeer to get the Soul Stone. Oh, I just skipped all of that. So let me go back. Let me backtrack, back up. So they go, Rocket and um, Professor Hulk, Bruce go to recruit Thor, who's in New Asgard. Daddy. So they travel to New Asgard to, recruit Thor, and the years have not been kind to Thor. Uh, they show up to his place, and Korg and the little insect dude, I can't remember his name. They're playing Fortnite, and Thor is a drunk. He looks like the dude from the Big Lebowski. He's all overweight and chubby, and he's drunk and drinking beers and stuff, eating junk food. As the first Rocket, I love Rocket in this movie because his comedic timing was amazing. He's he said Thor looked like melted ice cream. Oh my god, that was hilarious. Like, bro, really melted ice cream. That's funny. But yeah, they say Thanos, and he's like, don't say that name. And now Captain America, Professor Hope may be a little mild mannered, like Superman, but he's like, bruh, take your hands off me. Yes, you've been through some things, I can understand it, but don't put your hands on me. So they get him to come by saying, there's booze on the ship. So, they time travel. Everybody has their jobs. And so, like I said, Captain America, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Professor Hulk all go to New York to retrieve the three stones. Oh, excuse me. So, Hulk goes to um what is his name? Doctor Strange's place to get the Soul Stone, and who do we see fending off her domain from the T'Chari, than the Ancient One, and she already knows, and he's like, I'm here I'm here to see Doctor Strange, and she's like, well, you're 5 years too early, because Doctor Strange is like 20 blocks that way performing surgery. And she like, but I know, and he's like, well, I'm here for that. I'm here for the Aya Agamotto time stone. And she like, yeah, you ain't getting that. And she does the same thing that she did to Doctor Strange when he showed up, grabbed him, pushed his soul stuff out, and just Hulk just drops. So Bruce is talking to her, trying to get her to relinquish the stone so he can use it. She ain't having it, and she like, if you take a stone at a time, it creates an alternate timeline and creates chaos, and my world is doomed. And he's like, yeah, that's true, but Bruce is smart, so he's like, but if we return the stones at the exact time that they were taken, then there's no paradox, there's no alternate universe. It just flows back normal like it's supposed to. She's not down for it, but she's like, you know what? She gives it to him because he's like, Doctor Strange gave up the stone, and she's like, well, Strange is supposed to be the best of us, so if he gave up the stone, he did it for a reason. So she gives him the stone. Um, that then Captain America, Ant Man, and Iron Man go to the Avengers. the Avengers Tower, the old one, and they're seeing, they're gonna take Loki, and so while they're taking the Tesseract, aka the Time Stone, the Space Stone, um, they get ready to take it, but Tony being Tony again, talking about Captain America's ass, talking about that his old tight suit doesn't do anything for his ass, and Ant-Man like, hey, I don't care what you say. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass. And he salutes it, and so they get ready to leave, and he like, flick me. So Tony flicks Ant-Man off his shoulder into the briefcase to try to take the Tesseract. Um, wow, Cap is trying to get the scepter. Cap goes to the elevator, and it's literally just like the scene from the elevator scene from the Winter Soldier. Everybody's in there except they have an extra person, Officer Sidwell or whatever his role is. Sidwell, he's there, and Cap's like, I got a call from the secretary to get the scepter and take it to get it to a safe place, and they ain't believing him. They about to start attacking him, and then he just leans in to sit where like Hell Hydra, and they give it to him. And while he's walking away with his back turned to them, he's smiling like, yeah, yeah, I know this and this thing. He comes around the corner. He's like, you got to be shitting me. And who he comes to face with but Cap from 2012. I'm like, nigga, no. Nigga, no. Cap from 2012? Are you serious? Man. So Cap from 2012 was like, I got Loki. No. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So um Tony steals a security guard's outfit, SWAT team. So because he had the SWAT team outfit with the helmet, so they wouldn't recognize him. And um, uh, what is his name? Ant-Man. He's crawling through, and he's trying to get into the arc reactor to pull out a plug to get him like a mild heart attack or something like that. And he's like, "Are you sure this is gonna work?" You're like, "Yeah, man, just do it." So he does it, gives him a heart attack. Tony drops the briefcase. He kicks it. So he drops the briefcase, kicks it over to the 2023 Tony or 2019 Tony, whichever you want to call it, future Tony. Kicks it over to him. Tony picks it up. They're leaving. Oh, and they made Hulk take the stairs instead of going down the elevator because it was maximum capacity, so he couldn't get on this. So he had to take the stairs. So they made it out clean. Then all of a sudden, boom, the door comes flying open from the stairs. No stairs. Hulk hates stairs. They go flying. The briefcase go flying. It pops open. Loki sees it's the Tesseract, grabs the cube, takes off. So they screwed up. Loki's gone. So they're trying to figure out what happened to Loki. Everybody, the Avengers from 2012, they're trying to figure out what happened to Loki. Loki's gone. So Cap runs into 2012 Cap, and he thinks since he looks like me, is Loki. He's like, no, I'm not Loki. I'm you. Don't make me hurt you. So they get into it, and Cap 2012 lands him with a good one, and he's like, I can do this all day. Cap was like, yeah, I know. Oh God. So they get into it, and Cap 2012 hemmed him up, got him in chokehold, and he almost got him, and then he just whispers, Bucky's alive. And he stops like, what? And he catches him with an elbow to the face, used the staff to knock him out and wipe out his memory about what happened. So they leave, regroup. They like, Cap, we messed up, and we lost the cube. So they come up with a plan that they know where they only have enough pimp particles to go there and go back. So they don't have enough. So they have Ant-Man go back to 2023 or 2019, whatever you want to say. They have they have Scott Lang to go back while Tony and Steve go to 1970, because 1970 uh, um, in New Jersey, where Cap was basically made, they go and Tony says the Tesseract is there and there are pin particles there. So they get disguises. Um, Tony is in a suit. He got a little MIT tag, and he gets the Tesseract. While Cap sneaks in, gets the pin particles after tricking tricking Hank Pym into thinking that the guys done opened up the Tesseract outside. So he grabs the pin particles, tries to hide because they come to find out that they've been spotted. Um, Goes in the room. Who does Cap see in the next room? He's in a dark room. Who did he see in a lit room? Nobody other than Peggy Carter. Peggy's there, and she's literally just, if she would have looked, he got close to the window. If she would have looked up for a split second, she would have saw him. But she didn't. They get out. Um, while stealing the Tesseract, Tony gets caught, almost caught by his dad, Howard. So he's like, "What's your name, kid?" And he's like Howard Potts. So he's talking to him about having Tony, having a boy, and he's scared. And Tony's like, "Well, I have a daughter, And he's like, "How do you do it?" He's like, I literally just make it up as I go, just take it one day at a time, try to do my best, and try not to screw him up. So, they have this whole conversation or whatever, and then they get outside, they say their goodbyes, and they leave. And then we find out that Jarvis was Tony's childhood butler. So that's where he got Jarvis, the AI, from. So they make it back. Cut to Morag, Nebula and War Machine are on Morag, waiting on to Peter Quill to lead them to the Power Stone. Power Stone. They knock him out, get the Power Stone. Rhodey leaves. Nebula doesn't, because Nebula from 2014 has been transmitting all of Nebula 2019 and 2023's memories about what's been going on for the past couple of hours or past couple of years. So our Nebula, she comes back, and she tries to warn everybody that Thanos knows, but it doesn't work. So because that doesn't work, she gets snatched up and switched by 2014 Nebula, because Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2014. So 2014 Nebula kidnaps her, snatches her, trades places with her, and goes back to our time with the Squad. So they go to Asgard. Rocket and Thor and Asgard. Thor's not like, I can't do this, because this is the Dark Elves thing, and my mom dies on this day. She dies in a few hours, actually. I just want to go get some of the amazing alcohol that my dad has in the pantry. And he runs into his mom. His mom knows that he's from the future because she's raised by witches, so she knows, she can see things. So she knows what's going to happen. He's trying to tell her. She's like, "No, I don't need to know," because she knows already. She knows that she dies because she can feel it coming from him. So because of this, what happens is um, she tells him, "Stop being who you think you should be for other people. Just be who you should be for you." So while he's interacting with his mom, um, Rocket sneaks up on Jane to take the ether, aka the Reality Stone, out of Jane, and they dip out. But before they dip out, Thor reaches up to grab Mjolnir, and Rocket's like, "What is he doing?" And she's like, "Don't worry. Sometimes it takes a minute." And it shows that he is still worthy to wield Mjolnir. So they return back with the Power Stone and Mjolnir, and then they go back. They switch to Vilmir, where Ronan and Black Widow are, and Red Skull call Clint Barton, Natasha Romanoff, father, your father is this, your mother is that, your father is this, your mother is that, and they was like, he might be, and Clint like he might be lying. He and Natasha like, I don't know, because I don't know what my father's name was. So he tells him it's a soul for a soul. Somebody has to die. Somebody has to give up their life. And they're like, this don't make sense. It can't be right. And it must be a trick or something. But Black Widow remembers Thanos went to Vermeer with Gamora, his daughter. He came back with the Soul Stone, didn't come back with Gamora. So they go into it. They're fighting to see who's gonna die to get the Soul Stone. Clint gets the upper hand using and one of his explosive arrows, but excuse me. Black Widow uses the grappling hook on her wristband to catch the edge and wrap it around Clint's wrist, and Clint grabs her, and she was like, "Let me go. It's okay. I'll be fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for our loved ones. It's okay." And he was wanted to die because he's become Ronin. He become a cold-blooded killer, even though it's mostly bad guys. But he just become this killer, and he didn't want to take that back to his family. But she was like, just you gotta. But at least you have a family. I don't. I have you guys. You guys are my family, and I want to do this for you guys. So because of this, she pushes off because he wasn't gonna let go. So she pushes off the side of the mountain and falls to her death. And they gets the soul stone. The flash happens, and he gets sent to the soul world where he gets the soul stone, and then you just see him just start crying his eyes out because this is his best friend, this is basically his sister he just lost, and he just looks utterly broken and defeated. Um, so they go back in time, and it's like, I can't believe this. Does this actually work? And it's like, yeah, it worked. And then you just see Clint drop to his knees, like, she did it. She gave up her life. Basically, he didn't say it, but he was like, he was implying that that's what happened. Hulk mad, and he's like, "No, man." They go outside to the lake, and they're talking about it. And like, it must be some kind of way. And he's like, "No, the Red Skull said there is no way. If you want to see, if you want to think that she can come back, then you go to space, you go to Vermeer, and you talk to him. But he said she can't come back." So and uh, Tony and Bruce, they work on the gauntlet, and it's a Iron Man glove shaped gauntlet, and they put the stones in. After they put the stones in, Rocket, being an asshole, go boo, and scares the fuck out of them. They wanted to fight Rocket after that. So after that happens, they're trying to figure out who's gonna do the snap because we all know you do the snap, all that power is gonna destroy you, and if you're human, it's more likely to kill you. So, but because so you no because Thanos isn't human, he survived. The second time it damn near killed him, but he still managed to survive. So Thor is like, since I'm the strongest Avenger, I should do it. But they like, nah, bro, because you drunk. Ain't no telling what the world's gonna be like if we let you do it. So Professor Hulk's like, I'm gonna do it, you know, because I can take it. and the radiation coming off these stones is mostly gamma. Yes, baby. So they come to the conclusion that Bruce is gonna do the snap because the radiation is coming out from the glove is mostly gamma. So basically, he's like, I basically was made for this, which is another callback to the Avengers because he's like, the other guy saved me, huh? From what? Tony's like, maybe you'll find out. It might be fun. So puts the glove on, power is surging through him. They don't think he can do it. Thor's like, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. It's gonna kill him. And Cap's like, wait, can you handle it? And Bruce is like, yeah, I'm okay, I can handle it. And Cap, not Cap, Tony's like, remember, just bring it back everybody that was taken from the snap. Don't change anything else. So he snaps his fingers, and it messes his arm up. Um, the doors come open, and Scott's looking out the window. The sun is shining. Birds are chirping. Next thing you know, you look and you see um, Clint's phone is ringing. It's his wife. She's calling him, and he's talks to her, and they're like, "I think it worked." And next thing you know, I'll use you see. Oh, I got too far ahead. Nebula from 2014 takes off her disguise, it was a little gold metal piece that she took from our Nebula and put it on. Nothing else really changed. Puts in the coordinates, brings Thanos from 2014 through the time to now. He blows up the Avengers facilities, and I'm not even gonna lie, like the explosion happened so fast, so randomly, and Scott was the first one to get blasted. I just thought he was dead. I was like, oh my gosh, Scott's dead. But he hit the button, shrunk, avoided all types of damage. He got hurt, but it wasn't that bad. Um, Professor Hulk is holding up the building with one arm and mostly his back, trying to keep the building from coming down on him. War Machine and Rocket. Rocket is stuck under some debris, slowly crushing him. He's like he can't breathe. So War Machine had to come out of his suit to save Rocket, so he wouldn't get crushed and drown. Uh, don't know where Nebula is, but Clint is at the bottom in the pipeline with the gauntlet. Turns around, hears some noise coming towards him. It's their Outriders. He take off, placing bombs behind him, shooting arrows at him to take him out so he don't get fucked up. Uh, Cap, Iron Man. No. Um, um, uh, right. What happened was Nebula comes out. He tells Nebula, "Bring me the gauntlet." He takes off. He puts his double-bladed sword down because Thanos had in 2004 has a double-bladed sword. Puts the double-bladed sword down. Takes off his helmet. Puts the helmet on the double-bladed sword, and he sits and waits. Thor is sitting there in his little outfit, looking like a homeless person. And Cap and Iron Man comes to his aid, like, what is he doing? He's just standing there. And Thor's like, it's a trap. Iron Man's like, yeah, but I don't really care. He's like, all right, as long as we're in agreement. And his eyes start glowing. He calls Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. Then he changes to his outfit. His beard gets braided up and all. It's all crazy. And while they're fighting, Ant-Man is trying to get to where Bruce and everybody is to help them. So while that's going on, they're fighting. Uh, they're fighting Thanos. Thanos is like, I'm gonna destroy your world down to its very last atom. Like I thought, if I take out half the universe, that it would be good and y'all would flourish, but y'all are not. And he like, yeah, we're stubborn that way. We're human. We're stubborn. So he like, I'm gonna destroy your world. Maybe that'll be better. So they're fighting. They're getting into him. He getting into them. It's just going back and forth, back and forth. Thor throws Stormbreaker. Thanos picks him up, knocks and it knocks Tony away. Thanos knocks away Cap. So it's Cap. Thor is using both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker to get in Thanos' ass. Then Thanos catches after he threw Stormbreaker and missed. He calls back. Um, he calls back Stormbreaker, which Thanos catches using its momentum and using it to push the blade into Thor's chest, just like Thor did in the end of Infinity War. So while he's doing that, you just see Mjolnir start to rise. And then you just see it flying in the air, hit Thanos in the back of the head. It get called back, and who catches it? Captain America. So he got the hammer, he got the shield. Thor looks up like I knew it. Thanos kicked him through a rock, big ass rock. Cap, seeing Thor use this a dozen times, just combining the shield and hammer, he goes in on Thanos, shoots lightning out of the hammer, calls lightning from the heavens, come and strike down Thanos. Thanos get that double bladed sword he got, knocks Mjolnir out of his hand, goes just hacking away at the shield, breaking it, and then swats Cap away. Cap gets up. Thanos calls the army, the Chitauri worms, dragons, whatever, or you can call it the Chitauri whale. That's what I called it. The Outriders, his children, he calls everybody. Cap stands up by himself, tightens up the shield, and gets ready to do it by himself. Duke it out. Then all of a sudden you hear it coming in on the comms on his ear. Cap, are you there? Cap, can you hear me? And it's Sam on your left. Turns to his left. Doctor Strange sling ring opens up a portal. Out comes Okoye, Shuri, and Chitala. Then more and more sling rings open. Out comes, out flies Falcon, and out walks everybody. Scarlet Witch, the Wasp, everybody, a bunch of wizards from the Doctor Strange Academy or whatever you want to call it. Just hundreds of people. The entire army from Wakanda. Ibombe! Ibombe! Scarlet Witch, everybody come out. They standing there ready to fight. Guardians, everybody. And I think I saw the Nova Corps. I'm not sure. But it's everybody ready to fight. Everybody ready to throw down. How you just see Captain Avengers calls Mjolnir back, catches it. Assemble. Then they just charge. Everybody fighting, going in. Clint running with the gauntlet, trying to get away, gets smashed, gets up, runs into runs into T'Challa. T'Challa, give it to me. Gets the gauntlet, turns into a running back, running with that gauntlet, getting away from people, using the kinetic energy from his built in from his suit to blast people away. Getting it. Then Corvus Grave used his psychic powers to get it away to separate him from the gauntlet. He jumps up, grabs the gauntlet, he gets caught in the rubble. Spider-Man comes flying in, he throws it to Spider-Man. Spider-Man lands. Call back to Spider-Man Homecoming. Activate instant kill. killing the Outriders. Kill him, stab. He starts gets overwhelmed. Cap throws Mjolnir so he can get away. He uses his spider web to help pull himself out. And they're playing keep away with the gauntlet. Pepper shows up. They fighting back to back in the Iron Man armor, rescue armor. Um, Ant Man and the Wasp work together to get the van started, so they can use the van as a portal. I mean, as a time machine to get the stones back to their original times. And then it happened. Thanos is walking, and you just see, boom, Scarlet Witch lands. Eyes glowing red. Not glowing like it was last time. My eyes are red, like blood red. It's like it is House of M Scarlet Witch. So her eyes are red, powers red, blood red, and she's like, "You took everything from me." And he's like, "I don't even know who you are." She's like, "You will." And she just thrashing this dude, thrashing him. Lift. He tried to use the blade. She catches it, then pushes it away with one hand and hits him with a vest. She got power uppercut, lifted him in the air, peeling his suit off. And you just hear him scream, "Rain fire!" And not Corvus Gray, but what the other dude's name was. I can't remember what his name. Proxima Midnight, I think. He's like, "But sire, what about the troops?" He's like, "Just do it." So the rain fire, everybody taking cover, the magicians using their energy rings or energy whatever to create shields for everyone and whoever. Rain fire, then all of a sudden you see it aimed up into the atmosphere, aims up to the atmosphere. Captain Marvel coming in from outer space, rips right through the spaceship and goes right up to Peter Parker, who's still being swarmed. And she's like, "Hey, Peter Parker," and he was like, "Hi, I'm Peter. I'm Peter Parker." She's like, "Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?" So he gives her the gauntlet, and he's like, I don't know how you gonna get through there." And then Shuri, the Wasp, Scarlet Witch, Valkyrie, Pepper, they just like, "Don't worry, she got help." And it's just the girl power thing, and they just taking out the army, trying to get Captain Marvel an opening to get to the ship. I mean, to get to the van. And she turned just beaming, using her power and the flight to get through the army to get it to the van. She almost makes it right, and she's closing in. Thanos throws a double bladed sword and blows up the van, sending everybody flying back. Trying to get the gauntlet. He gets the gauntlet on. Captain Marvel grabs his hand. He trying to push her off. He trying to. So she's trying to pry the glove off his hand. He headbutts her. She don't budge. She don't fall back. She don't do nothing. She just looking like, "Really, nigga?" Just start bending his fingers back. He trying to push back. He can't do it. He had to take out the Power Stone, charge up his fist, and punch her away. So he's trying. He knocks her away. But in the midst of everything, uh, Tony goes to Doctor Strange like, "Is this one of the one? Is it the one that we win out of the hundreds, out of the 14 million different realities?" And Doctor Strange like, "If I tell you, it won't happen." So while Thanos gets rid of um, Captain Marvel, Tony looks to Doctor Strange, who's trying to stop the water from coming in and drowning them. Holds up a finger like one. Not Cap. Um, Tony goes over, fights, and struggles with Thanos with the gauntlet. Thanos knocks him away. Holds up his hand. I am inevitable. Snaps his fingers. Nothing happens. Looks, sees, the stones are gone. Tony's crouched over, kneeling, sits up, but still kneeling. The nanites from his suit pushes the stones into position in his blaster, in his own gauntlet. And he said, "And I am Iron Man." Snap, and you just see everybody disappearing, turning. I'm sorry for that. For those of y'all who wanted the little girl voice you've been hearing, that's my daughter. Um, so anyway, before I rudely interrupted, no, I'm just playing. I love you. Um, when one of the Tatari whales, worms, whatever, goes to eat Rocket, right when he's about to get eaten, it just turns into dust, and everybody just dusting, dust, fading away, like at the end of Infinity War. You just see Thanos sit there, defeated, and then he just turns into dust. And then you're like, "Yay, it's over, we win!" And then you realize, wait a minute, Tony used the gauntlet. No, Tony's dying. You just look over Tony, look at Tony. Rhodey's over there. He looks distraught. Tony's dying. He's all burnt and fucked up and burned. It's terrible. And Peter's like, "No, Mr. Stark, we won. Don't leave, Mr. Stark. We won. We won. It's okay." And then everybody's just gathered around. You can see Cap like he's about to start crying. Then Pepper shows up. It's like, "It's okay, Tony. It's okay. You can leave. We'll be all right. You can finally rest." And he dies, man. Oh, it was so sad. Oh, it was so sad. So then it's at the funeral. Everybody's there. Everybody's there. Hank Pym, who hates the Starks. Scott, his daughter, and Hope's mom. Everybody's there. The boy from Iron Man 3, who's what, 18, 19 now. He's there. Everybody's there. Nick Fury shows up, and then you see Happy is on the porch, sitting with Morgan, little Morgan, and he's just telling her, "I can get you anything you want. I'm gonna take care of you." And he asked her, "Is she hungry?" She like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What do you want?" She like, "Cheeseburger." And he's like, "Your dad likes cheeseburgers," which is a callback to Iron Man, when Iron Man came back to America after being trapped on the in the Middle East, being held hostage. First thing he asked for, I want an American cheeseburger. So Happy's like, "I'll get you a cheeseburger. I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want." And she's like, "Okay." That almost broke me. So they listen to the hologram that he left, hopefully being listened to in triumph. That hopefully they won. Hopefully everything went according to plan, and that if they are listening to this in triumph, then that means he's dead. And then before he ends transmission, he looks up and he tells his daughter, I love you, 3,000." Which is another one that almost got me, man. So then Cap volunteers to go back in time to return the stones and return Mjolnir. And they have another call back to Captain America, the first Avenger, because he talks to Bucky. He said, "I'll be back, man. Don't do anything stupid while I'm gone." Then Bucky tells him, "How can I? You're taking out the stupid with you." And they hug, and he leaves. And it was like, "How long is it gonna take?" And he's like, "It's gonna take a few hours." Well, for him, no. He said for him, it's gonna take as long as he needs for it to take. But for us, it's gonna take 5 seconds. So he goes through time. And like, all right, in five, four, three, two, one, hit the return pad. Nothing happens. Okay, five, four, three, two, one, hit the return again. Nothing happens. And Sam freaking out like, "Yo, get him back here!" He's like, "I'm trying," but he's not responding. Then you just see Bucky look over. He's like, "Sam." You just see somebody sitting on the bench by the lake and holding and something next to him. And it's Cap, old man Cap. And he's like, I finally got some got some of that life that Tony kept telling me to get. And he passed the shield on to Falcon, making him the new Captain America. And Cap's like, "How does it feel?" He's like, "Feel like it belongs to somebody else." He's like, "Nah, because you basically saying, nah, man, you earned it." And then he sees a ring on Cap's finger. He's like, "So you want to tell me about her?" And Cap is like, "Nah, I think I won't." And it just goes to Cap um, going back in time, go to Peggy's house and having a slow dance with her. Everybody lives continue. Peter goes back to school. Um, Hope and Scott go back to the house to be with his daughter Cassie. It's everybody go back to living their lives. It was so heartwarming, heartbreaking. It was emotional. It was an emotional roller coaster. So like I said, if you ain't seen this movie, go see it. It's well worth it. All right, y'all. Peace.